Good morning, good morning, good morning to you and to anybody watching. We are going to continue with Unit 6. We're going to do Unit 6, Lesson 5, which is I can solve equations with square roots. Let's get into that. First thing we want to do is we want to figure out our steps to solve these equations. First thing you want to do is you want to split the equation. And remember, splitting the equation is like when we have x plus 5 equals 7. Splitting the equation means draw that line right down there. You have one side is the left, one side is the right. That is splitting the equation. Next thing you want to do, you want to isolate the variable and or the square root. Isolate the variable and or the square root. Okay. Finally, square both sides. Not finally. You want to square both sides of the equation, and then you want to solve for the variable, which gives you your final answer. Okay. Split the equation, isolate the variable and or the square root, square both sides of the equation, and then solve for the variable. Let's check it out. Number 1 here on our example, we have the square root of x plus 2 equals 6. Remember that first step here is to split that equation. Let's just split that right down the middle. Okay. Then what we want to do is step 2, we want to isolate the variable and or the square root. Well, good thing that the variable is under the square root here. So we need to get rid of this plus 2. So we're going to do the opposite of plus 2 and subtract 2. Our 2's go away here. We're left with the square root of x equals 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay. Then we want to step 3, which was square both sides. Okay, so what that looks like is we're going to put a little parenthesis around here, put a square up there, put a parenthesis around here, and square up there. I know that seems silly for that parenthesis over here because 4 squared and the parentheses around the 4 squared are the same, but just use them. You'll trust me for later on. Hey, the square root of x squared is just, let's see it over here, the square root of x times the square root of x. Well, that just equals x. If I do the square root of 4 times the square root of 4, well, the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. You just get that same thing back. So when I square a square root, just cancels out that square root, and I'm left with just x. And that equals 4 squared, which is 16. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. And you are done. You can check that. Square root of 16 plus 2. Square root of 16 is 4 plus 2, which equals 6, which was our original answer. Good job. Let's try another example. First thing, you want to split the equation right down the middle. Well, not really down the middle, but you know what I mean. Okay, square root of x minus 5 equals 7. Opposite of minus 5 is a plus 5. Plus 5, or negative 5 plus 5 is 0, so we cancel each other out. We get the square root of x equals 7 plus 5 is perfect 12. Well, now we need to do what our last step is here and square both sides. You might need a calculator for this one if you need to, but if you don't, that's perfectly fine too. Square root of x times the square root of x is just x. That line underneath there. And then 12 squared, which is 12 times 12, which is 144. Let's show it over here for the people who want to see it out. Remembering how to do some math here. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 plus 0, 2 plus 2, 1 plus 0, 144. So it's 12 squared, 144. And that's our answer. Let's check it out. Last kind of step here, not a necessary step, but also a beneficial step. The square root of 144, which is what we said x was, minus 5 equals 7. Well, square root of 144 is 12 minus 5. 12 minus 5 is 7. Does 7 equal 7? It most certainly does. Prove that as right. It's the end of page 1 of our notes. Check back for part 2. If you have any questions, comment, or send me a message. Have a great day.